So most of this is painted black, and it's not quite dry, but it's dry enough. I decided that as I was painting it, I was going to leave this brown color on the inside of this back row, just a natural brown, and I did kind of mostly paint the insides of these. Not all the way, it's not perfect, but you know, I'm going to be putting my stuff in it, so I'm not really that concerned. I did paint around the entire box. I had to do 2 coats. It's not completely dry, but it did cover up the cereal stuff, and I used just plain black acrylic paint. Oh, right here it is. This is the kind that I used. It's Anita's all-purpose acrylic craft paint. Nothing special, just black acrylic paint. So that's the start of it. I also said that I was going to add the ribbon, but I also want to add a base, so I want to do that first before I add on all the embellishments. I chose just to use this, I think she calls it, what, particle board or cardboard, that thicker stuff. It's a little thicker than cardstock. And I'm going to create a base for that. So I'm going to bring in my cutting mat. And I'm just going to use just a cutting knife and a ruler. And I decided that this box was approximately, I remember to put it upside down for you. Not that that's going to help much because you probably can't really see it, but let's see. It's about 7 3/4 inches, so that's what I'm going to go with, 7 3/4 wide. I'm not going to worry about how far it comes out yet because I might want to add more to it. So I'm just going to mark it. 7 3/4 is approximately there. And I think if I line it up with these lines that I might get a decent cut. Sort of around there. Now, if this is going to wig you out because I totally didn't measure that on both sides, then by all means don't do it this way, but this is basically how I craft. And you've seen some of my work. If you haven't, check out some of my other videos. Check out my blog spot. I'm at jensborrowedart.blogspot.com. I'm at Koala T Crafts with a K. koalateacrafts.weebly.com is where I put some stuff to. This is basically how I put everything of all my things together. I look at someone's tutorial and I do it based on I just eye it up and make it. I just don't get into all that measuring. So now you can totally tell I've got all this extra space up here, but I might want to add something to the front. I might want to do something like that. So I'm not going to be too worried about that. But that's my base for now. So I think maybe I have kind of an idea for this front part, but I got to get something for it. So I'm going to eye up that I might need about this much more space because it might be as round as this. So I'm just going to cut it across about right here. That looks good to me. Bring my ruler and just use this to cut it across again. I have a metal edge on the edge of this ruler. That's super good to have around. And chop it off. There. That looks good. So, yeah, to me, that looks good. You can always chop off more later, but you can't add it back on. So that looks good. I'm going to glue this down. Now, instead of trying to glue on all these little tiny edges here, I'm just going to totally glue it mostly on this box and maybe a little bit in between each section to get this glued down. Need more glue. That'd be a swell time to run out, wouldn't it? Yeah, really swell time. Okay, I'm going to skip that part because I really don't want this to dry on me. I'm lining it up with the back of that and just going to press down. I hope that didn't dry. And some of it did. See how wobbly it is in the front? I'm just going to stick some glue, more glue in there. That worked. Okay. It is a little wobbly in the front. I'm going to try to add some glue to those little pieces. Now if I bend this up carefully, I'll be able to see where I'm putting the glue on the edges in the inside. And then get a little bit where they meet. Not too much though. And hopefully it'll give it just enough edge to hold that down. I'm going to give it kind of a firm push. I didn't do it too much on this very front part, so you can tell that some of these lift up right here, but the middle totally stayed. That was what I was going for. Because I can do this next part in the front, and that will fix that problem. So I had to get one thing.
Lonely hearts shivering out in the dark, hiding from the truth, cover.
Well, like I said, it's going to be a really long video. Hope you don't mind. So, I went and got a toilet paper tube because not my toilet paper, paper towel, because the toilet paper was too short. And I had something in mind for putting here because I want to add my tapes to it. So, I'm going to eye it up again and cut off the end. And this might or might not work. I'm not really sure. So I'm cutting it off like right there, right where I decided it looked good. I want it to rest kind of right there. And I'm also going to keep this natural brown the way it is to go to kind of match with that brown that's sticking out. So it'll be like a black brown, you know, kind of natural colored thing. I might even change the color of my ribbon now that I'm thinking of it. And to put things that sit up in this front part, I'm going to cut some of the top off. First thing I'm going to do is just cut straight across. Now, Pallavi or anyone else who's watching, if you don't have a paper towel tube, because I didn't ask you, don't sweat it. You just use 2 toilet paper tubes and glue them on either side. So, did you notice I didn't chop like a big strip off? I just cut it so that it kind of opened up on its own. That's what I want. Because I want the sides to stay relatively, you know, strong, stiff, so that firm, so that when I put stuff in there, it's not going to like rock and come off. So that's sort of like what I want, like right there. So I'm going to glue that down. I'm going to put a glue line here and one behind it because it actually touches in quite a bit of a spot down there. Awesome. Great. Okay, that is what I'm talking about for like stuff like this. So that it can just kind of set in there and it's not like flying all over your desk. It's just in that little thing, you can pull it in and out. So yeah. I'm going to gather my supplies for the third and last part, because holy Hannah, this one's like almost 10 minutes.